Hello friends, Amy R here with Prairie Paper and Ink and another Stamptember limited edition collab stamp set. Today's collaboration is with My Favorite Things. This set is super cute. This is the Time to Unwind stamp set. So I pulled out my Misty and some of Simon's 120 pound smooth white cardstock, and I started by stamping the two tree images. And then I just used one of the pieces of acetate that the stamps come on, because, you know, they come on the sheet that has the printed images. And then there's usually a second sheet on the other side. I just use that, anything will work, to protect my cardstock so I could keep moving these stamps over and restamping them without having to clean in between. So it's just a time-saving thing. And then when I'm done, I just wipe off, you know, whatever ink I got on that acetate sheet, and I put it back on the stamps themselves. I always keep those just to keep everything protected. So I stamped these images, and then I grabbed another piece of cardstock so I could stamp this little moose in the hammock image. I love it. I have a soft spot for moose images. It's a Canadian thing, and I actually have a moose that she lives near where I live, which is surprising because usually they live quite a bit further up north, but she keeps coming back, and she actually came back this year and brought her two babies. And I say babies with asterisks because moose babies are like 7 feet tall. But yeah, she lives literally like a few blocks away from me, just right outside of town. And then she goes back up north in the winter, and it's bizarre. But anyway, I like moose images. You just don't see them very often. So I had stamped all the images with intense black ink, and then I did very simple Copic coloring, which I've sped up as usual in the video. I'm not doing anything special. With the trees, I just kind of did a flicking motion, you know, give them a bit of texture, and I kept with bright greens, even though normally with pine trees you'd go with, you know, darker greens. But I was in a rainbow mood, and that was also why I stamped the moose image onto some rainbow pattern paper, which I'll get to in a second. So I just colored all the trees first, just kind of went back and forth with the greens to give it that little bit of texture, a couple of little browns for the branches. The moose, same thing, very simple coloring, just with some different shades of brown. I did lighter shades for the moose body, and then his fabulous little antlers there, colored that in with darker shades of brown. And then the hammock, I decided to paper piece, which I used to do this all the time. Like, that used to be just my thing, you know. People still ask about that, like, why don't you use pattern paper as much anymore? Just styles have changed, and just is what it is. But I had this little rainbow stripe, and like you saw it, like that, it was just a scrap, and I've kept it because rainbow anything I love, and it was perfect. So I'd stamped the image onto that rainbow stripe, and then I fussy cut out just the hammock image using my little cutter bee scissors, cutting right on the line. And then I cut out the little portion that his arm goes over and part of his little antlers. So I cut all that out. And then the key thing with fussy cutting and doing paper piecing like this is to take a black marker and go all the way around the edges with it. I just quickly run that marker around. It covers up that exposed white edge of the pattern paper, so things will look more seamless when I adhere it. And then I'm just going to use my craft tacky glue that has the fine tip little point on there, because I even paper piece that teeny tiny little corner. It's not much, but there was a little, you know, a piece of the hammock there. So sometimes I'll leave that sort of a thing and I'll just color it in with a marker. You won't notice, but it worked. And then the other key thing when paper piecing is to remember to add a bit of shading. That makes it just kind of fit in, you know, so it's not just floating there. So I just used a couple of warm gray markers and added that bit of shading, and that's it. Really simple. An image like that or a part like that is a very simple way to do some paper piecing. I've done some very intricate paper piecing over the years, and it's been a while. It has. But anyhow, all those images were cut out, set aside. My background, I used My Favorite Things Rolling Clouds stencil on another piece of smooth white cardstock. And I'm using the Positively Saturated Seafoam ink. Kind of obsessed with this color. So I have it in one of my ink stand holders. I've shown these in multiple videos and people always ask, I do link to them. I always try to link to absolutely everything that I use in my videos. So always check the supply list. And then if for some reason I forget, let me know, because I'll edit or, you know, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, have the ink pad in that holder. I'm using my little Simon blending brush and just blending that ink over the stencil to create a fun little cloudy background. And then I'm going to trim this down. It was originally A2 sized, but I'm going to take a good chunk off of all the sides to make it smaller than my A2 card when I get to it. And I had this whole kind of like rough idea of how I wanted to assemble everything. But as I started like putting the trees up, and I was like, this basically looks like he's just like the tree, like everything's just in the sky. It's like it needs a little ground. So I took the little, there's a couple of little grass images in the set as well. So I took that and I'm going to stamp that all along the bottom of this with that same intense black ink. And then once I've got that stamped, and you could technically just stamp this with green ink if you wanted, but I decided to stamp it with the intense black ink. And then I'll just take the same green Copic markers that I used to color the trees. And I'm just going to go over that with just a flicking motion to add the color for this little like grassy, you know, grassy field, whatever, that the moose is going to be hanging out in. So after I colored that, that just kind of grounded my whole little scene so that I can adhere my trees and my moose in his fabulous rainbow hammock. So I'm going to just use my craft tacky glue to adhere all of these to create my scene. And again, I've been talking about this metal tip. I just screwed it right on to my bottle of craft tacky glue. I have one bottle for just my go-to, like just the regular as is, like how it comes. And then I got this little detail metal tip and I just screwed it on and it's been working. So I have one for detail work, one for regular work, and it's been great. So adhered my little trees and I saved a couple of the extras. I'm going to use those on the inside of the card. So got those adhered, and then I can adhere my little lounging moose. And once I've got him into place, I'm going to work on the inside of the card. So my card base is a standard A2 card. And I masked off where the score line is so I don't get ink past that. And then I just did the exact same thing as I did on the card front. I just blended the seafoam ink over the Rolling Clouds stencil to just give it some color. And then I stamped that little grass image across the bottom and then quickly took my Copic markers and drew that. I decided not to add any sentiments or anything. I kind of left this card open-ended. I was thinking after it was done, I was like, this would be a perfect like retirement card, you know, the time to unwind sentiment, which I'm going to add when I finish the card, you know, or just end of school, like for a teacher when it's the end of the school year, because teachers deserve all the cards, all the gift cards, all the gifts, all the things, you know, but yeah, or just a thinking of you, because, you know, you're a moose in a hammock and thinking, I don't know. Anyway. I coated the back of the card front with Simon's Big Mama foam tape. And off camera, I had white heat embossed the Time to Unwind sentiment onto some pink cardstock. And I die cut it with a little speech bubble wafer die. And stuck some the Big Mama foam tape on that as well. So that I can pop that on right over these trees here. And that actually is going to finish this card. I decided not to add any splatter or bling. I know. This is about as clean and simple as I can possibly manage without going completely like, and I'll make up for it, you know, in the next card I make or something. I'll just like cover it with splatter or cover my work surface with splatter, something. But anywho, this was really fun to make. Like I'd mentioned, this set is one of the limited edition exclusives. So I'll have a link to it as well as the combo set in the description box below the video, as well as a link to my blog post. All that info will be in the description box below if you're interested. Thank you all so much for watching and subscribing, thumbs upping, commenting, all of it. I very much appreciate it. And I'll see you all very soon in the next video. Bye!